Welcome to Picks and Parlays here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network and also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter at Nick Geber. This is the show for Tuesday, December the 10th, which in a strange dichotomy of days is both International Human Rights Day and Iraqi Victory Day as celebrated by Saddam Hussein. Go figure that one. Today, though, big show. We're going to talk some NBA. We're going to talk some college basketball. We're going to talk a little NFL. Here's who we have, the Triple B himself, the bookie blaster Brown. Tony Brown will join me on the show. We're going to talk Knicks at Portland, Nuggets at Sixers, Wizards at Hornets, and late entry, the Hawks versus the Heat. Then Tony Tellez will roar. College basketball, Texas Tech, Louisville, Maryland, Penn State, Indiana, UConn, and finally, Butler, Baylor. Little B action for you. And finally, Sean. Well, the Duff Man will come. The Duff Man cometh. Sean Duffy will join me. We're going to talk NFL, Jets, Ravens, Pats at Bengals, Rams at Cowboys, Vikings at Chargers. We have got a jam-packed show for you. I would love to hear from you. Here's how it works. Find us on social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Fill out the comments section. If it's interesting, if it's rude, I will no doubt see it on the screen in front of me, and I will read it out, and you can participate in the show, and we'd love to have you, because this show is best when you play along with us. We're going to have lots of picks for you today. You may want to grab a pen and paper, and don't worry, if you miss any part of the show, you can always find it. You can find it on the Believe Podcast Network if you want the audio, but if you want the video, you can see the replays on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, always there for you, never fear. And never fear, if you want more than our free picks, if you want our expert picks from any one of our 35 expert handicappers, now's the time. We have a special promo going on, 15% off. I believe the promo code is HOLIDAY. Take full advantage of that while you can on the site. Load up your basket. In the meantime, we're going to gather our thoughts, make sure our cappers are roaring and ready to go. And when we come back, we're going to check in with Tony Brown, Triple B, for a little NBA action. Stay with us. Welcome back, Picks and Parlays. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter at Nick Geber. You can also find us streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can find us on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network every Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific on the network. The live stream, a little bit different time, so go check it out. All right, well, I promised you some basketball. So we have curated 4 of the finest basketball games for you. These are our picks for them. Let's bring in expert handicapper Triple B, Tony Brown. Tony, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me again, Nick.
Well, we have a better connection today, and I might say you're looking rested and ready to go. We have 4 picks. Let's start, shall we? The New York Knickerbockers against the Portland Trail Blazers. The Knicks are 4-19, 11-12 against the spread. They're just awful, though. They're 1-9 straight up. They're on a 9-game losing streak. I wonder, by the way, I forget it. Spike Lee's now, of course, he's a Brooklyn Nets fan, of course, right? Anyway, let's forget about that. That's the worst record in the NBA with the Knickerbockers. The total has gone under in 13 of the last 20. By the way, they're dead last in scoring, field goal percentage, and free throw percentage. Portland, on the other hand, 9-15. Not a great record either. 10-13-1 against the spread. They're on a 2-game losing streak. The last outing was a 96-108 loss to Oklahoma City. They're 4-6 at home, 1-4 against the spread in the last 5. But they're still 9.5 points, 9.5 point home favorites with a total of 218. The holidays are coming up, Triple B. I got a lot of kids. I also have two of my kids have birthdays this month, so I need to buy some presents. So help me make some money.
All right. Well, see, first of all, we're going to go with Happy International Rights Day, Human Rights Day. We don't want to forget that.
So you're going to take
like
that
you said,
one.
man, without
You're going to take that one
Without
over the
overthinking
Iraqi
it,
Victory Day?
No, we can't say that. We don't celebrate that.
Well, but they do. Apparently, the Baathists do. Well, whatever. Okay, yes, let's go. Happy Human Rights Day to you, Mr. President.
Right. Make it a more positive note.
Exactly.
But like you said, back to basketball. The Knicks are just horrible. You don't even need a capper for this game. This one is common sense. Just look at the TV. 1-9 in the last 10 games, 9-game losing streak, and that includes 0-5 going out to Portland. Like, they just struggle on the West Coast, period. They're last in scoring. So no matter what you do, you have to put the ball in the bucket to win the game. No matter how good your defense is, you don't win whoever scores the most. So last in league in scoring, no way to come out of a slump. Portland's on a 2-game losing streak. No better way to fix a losing slump like that than to play the Knicks, the worst team in the NBA. At 4-19, they're at a 5-1 losing rate. You know what I mean? They're losing at a 5-1 pace. So I'm just going to go with Portland to get it done at home. Don't worry about that big number. Lay the 9 points. The Knicks have absolutely nothing to offer.
Yeah, the Knicks basically suck. It makes it easy. Right?
Big suck, though. Not just the players. It's a whole level of suckiness. You can't be this bad just with 12 players. It goes all the way to management, even to the fans. Like you said, their biggest fan just jumped ship, and that's Spike Lee. So it's all throughout the organization, the fans, the city. Like, it's just not good right now for New York.
Well, the Knicks will not be celebrating any victory day anytime soon. That's for sure. All right, move on to the next one. The Nuggets at the Sixers. The Nuggets are 14-7. They're 9-11-1 against the spread. They only have one win in the last 5. Most recently, they had a 102-105 loss to the Nets. They're 6-4 on the road. They're 1-4 against the spread in the last 5. The Sixers, on the other hand, they're 17-7, 11-12-1 against the spread. They're 8-2 in the last 10 games straight up. They're coming off a 110-104 victory over defending champs Toronto Raptors. They're 12-0 straight up at home. And the total has gone under in 7 of the last 10. The 76ers are 4-point favorites. The total's 207. I'm ready for that new Ferrari, so how do I do it?
I mean, the games aren't played on paper. That's why we still watch them, and that's why we still watch TV. But to be honest with you, you can't compete with those stats. 12-0 at home, and they're at home. Like, you don't want, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah. It's only a 4-point spread, so that's 2 baskets. Even if they're up by a bucket, you know, they got to play that foul game at the end. That's not a large spread. It's 12-0 at home. Like, they have not been beat on their home floor, so why would we expect for them to lose now? However, Denver is a great team. Like, I always tell you about Western Conference basketball and Eastern Conference basketball. Sixers are great in the East Coast, but Denver is great for both. Like, they're just a good team. However, they're just too singular. With Murray or the Joker, you know what I mean? The Joker's going to be hot or Murray's going to be hot. They don't really give you that full 100% team effort. And Philly has the chance to put 4 all-stars on the court with Embiid, Simmons, Al Horford, and Tobias Harris. They could literally send 4 all-stars to the all-star game. So with that level of talent, you're not going to get it done with a 2-man show. And I like Philly to just stay undefeated at home.
So how much better, in your opinion, is the West to the East? I mean, you know, is it going to be very one-sided?
Yeah, and this is my personal opinion. You know, I know I got guys that'll argue me down, and you know they'll say Toronto won it all last year, yada yada yada. However, playing the Lakers, James Harden every night, LeBron James every night, you know what I mean? Everybody in the Western Conference always have a chance. Our 8th place team would make 4th or 3rd seeds in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So I just think a steady diet of Western Conference basketball gets you more prepared for the championship than playing in the East.
Fair enough, fair enough. It's one of the few sports where the West Coast dominates because certainly college football, college basketball, NFL. I mean, right now, you know, it always seems to be that East Coast bias, big and strong. Unless it's the NBA. Okay, Wizards at Hornets. The Wizards 7-15, 12-9-1 against the spread. On a 2-game losing streak, they lost 119-135 to the Clippers. Mind you, most people lose to the Clippers. They're 3-9 straight up on the road. Likely have to face Charlotte without Thomas Bryant, who is a question mark for this game. They're 3-6 against the spread in the last 9. The Hornets only 1 win in the last 5. 5-8 at home, only a .36 win percentage overall, which ain't so hot to be fair. Marvin Williams is doubtful here. They're 1-4 against the spread in the last 5. The Wizards, road favorites, -1. Total is 233.5. I know what you're taking on this one, TB.
Yeah, I got to take the Hornets at home. And this is a battle of worse versus worser news. Like, this is one of those ones you just bet on because you're trying to make some money or you're trying to climb out of a hole with your book or something. But there's plenty of better ways to make some money than this game. But if you are going to take it, you have to go with the home team. I mean, Washington, I couldn't name you 3 starters for Washington. They have such a lack of star power right now with Isaiah Thomas out. You still have John Wall, who's been out all season. Basically, Bradley Beal's the only recognizable name over there. And, I mean, the fact that they're road favorites and they haven't won in Charlotte in 5 state trips. They play them every year, so this isn't like an old stat that goes date back, way back when. Yeah. For the last 5 straight trips, they're 0-5 out there. And so now for them to be road favorites with all the injuries that they have, I'm not buying it. So I'll take the Hornets at home, kind of on a default pick.
Okay, you got it, Triple B. All right, better ways to make money. I tried, Triple B. I auditioned for the Men of Sapphire here in Las Vegas, but unfortunately I didn't make the cut, if you can believe that. All right, let's move on. Atlanta Hawks versus Miami Heat. Atlanta 6-17, 11-2 against the spread, coming off a 122-107 win against the Hornets. They're 2-4 against the spread in the last 5, 4-8 in the road. Total's gone over in 7 of 10. For Miami, 17-6, 13-8-2 against the spread. 2-game win streak. Goran Dragic, Justice Winslow, Bam Adebayo, they're all out. That may affect it. They're 3-8 straight up at home, 4-2 against the spread. I got Miami 9-point favorites. You got 1 minute. Far away, Triple B.
Keep it simple, stupid. 1 minute's all I need. Miami is 10-0 at home. Once again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Atlanta Hawks is a rebuilding team, 4-19 on the season. Once again, 5 times losing to the win rate. Just keep it simple. Take Miami to win and get the cover at home.
All right, you heard it there from Triple B. And, of course, you can see Tony Brown at picksandparlays.net, along with any one of our other 35 handicappers. But I tell you what, Triple B's picks are terrific. And right now is a great opportunity to go load up with not just free picks, but expert picks. Get that extra betting intelligence. You need it when you're going to go bet. Trust me, don't bet stupid, bet smart, and get the smarts at picksandparlays.net. And to help you along, we got 15% off everything in your basket. Promo code HOLIDAY. That's right, folks. Promo code HOLIDAY. All right, I'm going to take a very quick break, and we'll be back with Tony El Tigre Tellez for some college basketball. Welcome back to the show, Picks and Parlays, here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, also broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Just want to have a little correction. The promo code is not holiday. I was wrong. It's gift. That would make me right. So use code GIFT for 15% off everything at picksandparlays.net. So, having made that mea culpa, having said 15 Hail Marys, or whatever it is you say, I don't know. We're ready to go. Ready to hear El Tigre roar. Tony Tellez, let's talk some college basketball. How are you today, Tony?
I'm doing very well. Looking forward to this college basketball card, Nick. You know, we got through the college football regular season. Bowl's a few weeks away. And, of course, Army-Navy is on the weekend. But they'll get us through before we get to Army-Navy. We'll get some college hoops action in.
All right, let's do it. Let's start, shall we? Let's do Texas Tech versus Louisville. This is at Madison Square Gardens. Louisville 9-0, 5-4 against. By the way, you like how I say Louisville like that? I'm like a local at this point. Louisville 9-0, 5-4 against the spread. The Cardinals unbeaten on the season, coming off a 64-46 win over Pittsburgh. They're 2-0 in conference, 5-2 against the spread versus opponents in the Big 12. Speaking of the Big 12 then, shall we? Texas Tech, 5-3, 4-4 against the spread. They're on a 3-game win streak. Last outing was a 60-65 win over DePaul. Jameis Ramsey. I'll get it, one of them. Unlikely to play in this game. They're 1-7 against the spread in the last 8 versus ACC opponents. Cardinals, big favorites, -7, total 128. Take it away, LT Gray.
Yeah, Nick, I'm going to go ahead and take the Louisville Cardinals here at -7. As you said, it will be played in Madison Square Garden, a neutral site. And, they have notable wins on the road to Miami, then home wins to Michigan by 15. That's a pretty good Wolverines team they beat. They beat Pitt by 18, a team that is rebuilt and actually improved. Now, Cardinals, very good shooting team. They're making 39% of the three-pointers, 59% from two-point range, and they sit third in college basketball defensive efficiency. So here's a team that can shoot the basketball. That they defend among the elite teams defensively. And of course, looking at the Red Raiders, it's just their shooting form is poor. Past 5 games, just over 40%, 39%, actually 29% from three. They're on a 3-game losing streak after that overtime loss on the road to DePaul. Now, in that Las Vegas tournament, the Red Raiders dropped the 12-point decision to Iowa, 7 to Creighton. Creighton and Iowa are not known as defensive-minded teams, and the Red Raiders combined for only 41% shooting. Of course, Texas Tech returned only 1 starter from last season, and they're losing 4 seniors and their Big 12 Player of the Year. With Red Raiders, experiencing shooting woes right now, I'm going to go ahead and lay the points here with Louisville -7.
All right, Louisville -7. There we go. Cardinals for Tony LT Gray. Okay, next up, let's see. Let's do another Madison Square Garden one, shall we, T. Gray? Let's do Indiana, UConn. This is at the Garden, I believe. The Huskies, 6-2, 7-1 against the spread. They're 5-1 straight up the last 6 games, coming off a 80-62 victory over Iona, which I challenge anyone who doesn't know anything about college basketball to tell me isn't in New York, because I think it is. All right, 6-0 against the spread in the last 6, under in 5 of the last 6 for the Huskies. And the Hoosiers, 8-1, 6-3 against the spread, 64-84 blowout loss to Wisconsin, snapped an 8-game unbeaten run for them. Rob Finney, the guard, is doubtful for this game. They're over in 7 of 9, yet still favorites, 2.5-point favorites, 141.5. Raw, T. Gray, roar.
Yeah, I like the underdog here, Connecticut plus 2.5. Indiana had played all their first 8 games on their home court. They go on the road away from home, and they get pounded by Wisconsin 84-64. And this was a Wisconsin team that was, at the time, 4-4. They had a 3-game losing streak opening Big Ten play. Many of their 8 wins for Indiana has come really against weak opponents. The Huskies, the more tested team. They have notable wins against Florida at home, Miami on a neutral court. They battled Xavier, a really good Xavier team on a neutral court, to a 1-point defeat in double overtime. At UConn, they do a great job with 3-point defense, holding teams to just 28% shooting. They guard the paint well. And one thing to note here, the Huskies, they're back in the Big East. They're going back to the Big East here, and it will not start this season, but next season they'll begin play against their foes there. And of course, Madison Square Garden will welcome them with open arms, knowing they'll be back in the conference out there. Of course, I think the site does play their advantage for a Connecticut team here. And one thing to note here with Indiana head coach Archie Miller did not send the Hoosiers to the NCAA tournament last season. They were a struggling team. So Nick, the play here will be UConn plus the 2.5.
And of course, Hoosiers, a great movie from the 80s. Who can forget it? Starring Dave Neidorff, a guy I went to high school with, and of course, Gene Hackman. Great movie, Tony. You remember that, but ruined, unfortunately, on these playbacks with the very cheesy 80s synthesizer soundtrack. That's just my take on it. But, this isn't a movie review show. Let's do some more picks. Okay, Butler at Baylor. Let's do this one. Butler 9-0, 6-2-1 against the spread. Unbeaten so far on the season. coming off a 76-62 win over Florida. Derek Smits, Campbell Donovan, Marquise Hastings, all doubtful. That's a big problem for Butler. The total has gone under in 6 of 9. And Baylor, they're on a 6-game win streak, coming off a 63-58 win over Arizona. They have their own injury problem. Freddie Gillespie, Matthew Mayer, they're both doubtful. They're over in 12 of the last 18. Yet Baylor are big favorites here, home favorites, 5-point favorites, and the total points, 130.5. How do you see this one, Tony?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and look here at Butler +5. Butler is collectively a team. This is a team of bench players from last year, recruits as well as transfers who have really played very well. They're 9-0. They have been tested in the non-conference with wins in Minnesota and Florida at home. And then they go on the road and beat Ole Miss by 9. Butler, despite a competitive schedule, they have shot the ball very well. 12th in the nation offensive efficiency. You know, when you see this early in the season, that type of shooting, you think, well, they played a lot of cupcakes. But no, they've played a lot of good opponents. You know, this is a team with size and experience. Plus, they do a good job of getting points in the paint, hitting 56% of their 2-point shots, and they can make the perimeter shot at 37%. Now, Baylor, they have a loss this season in Anchorage, Alaska, to a young Washington, losing 67-64. They do struggle with inside shooting. Of course, the Butler Bulldogs have covered 6 of their past 8 Alliant games. In their road and neutral site games, the Bulldogs have combined for 49% shooting. Their 3-point defense outstanding. Now, Baylor at home only shooting over 42%. With this mishmash of talent here for Butler, I'm going to go ahead and take them here at +5.
All right, +5 it is for Butler. Okay, Maryland at Penn State. Maryland 10-0, perfect record, 3-5 against the spread. They are under in 6 of 9. Penn State, by the way, for a team that's 10-0, I did notice they actually haven't scored more than 8. They scored more than 86 points, and that's the most they've scored in a game, which for college basketball isn't bad. But if you look at their scoring, it's not as high as you would think it is, but then the under has come in a lot for Maryland. So I suppose that would bear that stat out. Penn State 7-2, 6-3 against the spread, coming off a 74-106 loss to Ohio State. They're 5-0 at home, though, and 7-2 against the spread in the last 9 home games. We do have Maryland, though, favored 1-point favorites, the away team, the road team, 146.5 total points. Tony, let's make some money.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and lay the point with Maryland because this is an experienced team that returns 4 starters from last year, and last year's team made it to the NCAA tournament, got as far as the second round. As you mentioned, Maryland, they do sit at 10-0, and they have faced strong competition. You know, Thanksgiving tournament in Kissimmee, Florida, they beat Temple, Harvard, and Marquette. Pretty good programs there. They come back home, post a win to Notre Dame by 21. And, of course, in their Big Ten opener, beat Illinois by 1. Terrapin's defense has been strong. You talked about the under because over their past 5 games, holding opponents to just 37% shooting, and they're guarding the perimeter. Penn State really is not a program that's not very successful in college basketball. They've been in the NCAA tournament. They haven't been to the tournament since 2011. They have not had a winning record in conference in all 8 seasons under head coach Patrick Chambers, yet he's still back. They were 14-18 overall last year, 7-13 in the Big Ten. They opened play, as you mentioned, the Big Ten getting pounded on the road to Ohio State. Their other loss came to Ole Miss on a neutral court by 2. And one thing with Nittany Lions, it's always been about the shooting. They're not a very good shooting team, just 40% shooting, 26% from 3 over their past 5 games. And, of course, we're looking here defensively. Penn State not defending the 3-ball. Opponents in that window of games hitting 40% of their 3-pointers. I'm going to go ahead and take Maryland minus the 1 in this one. Okay,
so you're going to take the Terrapins and no thought on the over or the under?
No thought on the over, the under. If I could lean under because I'm not a big fan of Penn State's shooting ability. Yeah. And, of course, Maryland is a defensive-minded team.
Yeah, Maryland has been under, so in 6 of 9, unless it's already priced in at 146.5, but we'll see. All right, Tony, very quickly, what's your favorite basketball film?
It's a good question. My favorite basketball film would be, oh boy. It was one of the first ones I've seen, and I can't even remember who was in it. It was back in the 70s.
It was when you had your jammies. It was Space Jam. Come on, you know it.
Was it? Oh, no. I was not. I think it was called Over and Out. It was the 70s with oh goodness, I forget the name. It wasn't Rob Lowe, but it was one of those heartthrobs back in the day who played in that movie. Might have been the Partridge Family guy.
What was his name? Didn't he just die, that guy from the Partridge Family? Come on.
I think so.
Help me out here.
Oh.
Producer Andrew, what was the guy from the Partridge Family?
Inside Out, Over and Out, or something to that. Side Out, something like that.
All right. Well, you know what? We'll look that up. It wasn't
David
Hoosiers,
Cassidy.
though.
David Cassidy.
David Cassidy. Thank you. David Cassidy. Yeah. It wasn't Hoosiers, though.
No, it wasn't.
Okay. All right.
No, it wasn't Hoosiers.
All right. Well, we'd love to hear from you. What is your favorite basketball movie? Not only that, who are you picking for this college basketball day? We'd love to hear from you. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Fill out the comment section. We will do our best to bring your comment up like a bad lunch right here on the show. In the meantime, I want to thank Tony T, LT Gray, always a pleasure. And you can find Tony at picksandparlays.net, along with any one of our other 34 expert handicappers. I want to make sure there are 35 in total, so if I'm talking to one, that means there are 34 others, right? Anyway, let's give you the promo code again. Make sure we get it right. I'm sorry I gave you the wrong one. The correct promo code is GIFT. That's right, the thing you have to give all the time. GIFT. 15% off everything you want, all the expert picks at picksandparlays.net. All right, I am going to take a very quick break and be right back. The Duff Man cometh, and he cometh with some NFL picks for you. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, picksandparlays.net here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, and also coming to you live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I'm your host, Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter, at Nick Geber. I'd love to hear from you. I don't know why, but I would. So follow me. Because if I get over like a certain amount of thousands, then I can become an influencer and get paid, I don't know, for picking my nose and endorsing some product. Isn't that the way you're supposed to live? But look, if that's not happening for you, never fear. We're going to give you some great sports betting picks. Right now, let's welcome to the show another one of our star cappers. The Duff Man not cometh, he has comed. He's right here. The Duff Man, Sean Duffy. Thank you for joining us. You ready to talk about some NFL?
I am, even though I'm very upset at you. You didn't mention that it's National Lager Day and it's National Dewey Decimal System Day. How you could diss those two important holidays is beyond me.
You know what? I am so overwhelmed with the fact that it's Iraqi Victory Day today that, I can barely control myself. So all other holidays pale in comparison to that one. All right. I believe that's celebrating their victory over Iran or something like that. I don't know. But look, talking about victories, let's start, shall we? We're going to do some NFL first. And, I smell something, Duffy. And you know what it is? I think it's the slow smell of decaying flesh on one Tom Brady. The Patriots at the Bengals. The Patriots 10-3, 7-6 against the spread. They're on a 2-game losing streak. It gives me enormous pleasure to say that. They lost 16-23 to Kansas City Chiefs. 5-2 away from home. Brady is perhaps a doubt, though, due to an elbow injury. I don't know. Maybe he needs to take a little more calcium with his Ensure. They're 1-4 in the last 5. The Bengals, well, unfortunately for those of us that enjoy the little schadenfreude going on with the Pats right now, the Bengals suck. They're 1-12. They're 5-7-1 against the spread. How sweet would a Bengals victory be here over the Pats? Victory over the Jets, though, was indeed short-lived optimism as they went and lost the Battle of Ohio 19-27. Total has gone under in 4 of the last 6 games. The Pats, big 9-point road favorites here, 40.5. I don't suppose there's any way we're ever going to see this sort of an upset, because it would be awesome.
Well, I mean, we've seen bigger upsets for sure, but I will say this. You can count out Tom Brady at your own risk. I would take, I don't even know what the futures are right now, but I'm sure the Patriots odds are dropping to win the Super Bowl. I'd still bet on him. Tom Brady is still the number one quarterback in the league till he's actually dethroned. Okay, yes, he hasn't been very good in the regular season, especially as of late. Although they're 10-3 straight up. But in this game, do have an anti-splits angle that says about fading road teams who've been better on the road straight up than at home, and that's 141, 104, and 11, and that would say to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. Also, I can't even remember who it was, one of those talking heads on TV, and I remember it was somebody who played on defense, so it caught my attention when he said this, and I wound up looking it up, and from a gambling standpoint, he was wrong. He said that he likes to go against teams that have their defense has spent a lot of time on the field, and he likes to fade those teams late in the year, and especially the bad defenses. But then when I look it up, I have a system that says go with the much worse. Yes, I said worse run defense late in the season is 59, 31, and 3. Obviously, that would certainly favor the Bengals, as New England's having a tremendous year on the defensive side of the ball. And also, every year, we have this debate. The teams quit. The teams that are also Rams teams like the Bengals, do they quit? The answer is sometimes on the road, they don't quit at home. Home underdogs, and you said 9. I've seen 9.5, 10. The line varies, but home underdogs of 9.5 or more in week 15 or later, very solid 32 and 19. And keep your eye on the injury report. And this is one of the reasons I think the line actually varies, especially since 10 is considered a key number. Different report, A.J. Green considered day-to-day, great weapon. He would not only be a great weapon that would return to the lineup, they haven't seen him all year, but even an emotional lift, and that's clearly going to affect the line. But I do like the Bengals. Sometimes you got to win ugly, and especially in professional sports. So I'm going to win ugly here with the Bengals.
All right, you're going to win ugly with the Bengals. Speaking of ugly, the Pats fans blaming everything on the refs. I mean, come on. I mean, let's get over it.
No, that they had legitimate gripes. There were some bad calls.
Oh, I can smell the whining coming from your part of town. I'm surprised.
I got to be objective. I'm objective about everything. That's why I can't be a politician. I got to, allow the facts guide me. But that's why I've been a successful handicapper. They had to use that challenge on that that touchdown. That was a touchdown, and of course it was overruled. But then they ran out of it, and then they have every right to whine yesterday, but they are cheaters.
They whine about everything. All right, next up, Vikings at Chargers. Vikings 9-4, 7-6 against the spread, coming off a 20-7 win against the Lions. They're 3-4 on the road. They'll likely be without Adam Thielson and Xavier Rhodes. They're 2-4 against the spread the last 6. Total's gone over in 4 of the last 5 for the Chargers, and that is the LA Chargers, because the Chicken Dinner Chirimbus isn't here, so we don't have to call it the San Diego Chargers. The LA Chargers, 5-8, 4-8-1 against the spread, snapped a 3-game losing streak with a 45-10 win over the Jaguars. Only 2-4 at home, though, and totals have all gone under in the last 5 home games. The Vikings are 1-point road favorites here with a total of 44.5. I don't know about you, but I've gone shopping for Christmas already. I have a big credit card bill. Help me pay it off, Duff, man.
I will definitely do that. Now, obviously, as we get closer to game time, that's when the injury reports become slightly more accurate. I think you said that Adam Thielen's not supposed to play. From what I've heard, he is expected to return after missing 6 of the last 7 games. But, of course, this is pretty early in the week. And the truth is, I think he's going to be a legitimate game time decision. I think everybody's going to be looking at the injury reports Sunday morning to see whether or not he's going to play or not. But of course, you especially like to look at the Thursday practice. Is he practicing? Is he practicing at full strength? Is he just limited in practice? But again, you always call me Mr. Regression to the Mean. You usually make a regression to the mean joke at the top of this. We do have a good regression to the mean angle here. The worst turnover team is 538, 407, and 30. And that always makes sense. I do think that there's a certain amount of luck that's involved in turnovers. So when a team has a much worse turnover margin, they're usually a pretty good bet because it's something that you can make corrections on and adjustments. And there's a certain amount of luck involved. I'm not saying it's all luck. It certainly is not. Also, fading home underdogs, though, off of a win of 21 or more 16-6 since 2002. That would favor the Vikings. Still, though, all in all, kind of like, again, my predictably unpredictable. Being a 3-point home dog is a pretty big dog, and that's when I think Phillip Rivers is the most dangerous. Plus, as I said, my regression to the mean angle points to them. Chargers plus the points.
Chargers plus the point. All right, next up, speaking of LA teams, the LA Rams going to Texas to play the Cowboys. I love this, by the way. Jerry Jones complaining about how he hates losing. It's just getting to be a pain in the arse to him. But, why doesn't he go out and build a better team? The Rams, 8-5, 9-4 against the spread on a nice 2-game win streak. Actually, they're 5-2, though, with losses to only the Steelers and the Ravens in the last 7. They're 4-2 away. The total's gone under in 7 of the last 8. Maybe a little underrated here, the Rams. The Cowboys, 6-7, 7-6 against the spread. The wheels, though, really come off this team this season, as Jerry Jones was complaining about. They're 3-7 with a 24-31 loss to the Bears last Thursday. Dak Prescott likely to make a return here, though. They're over in 11 of the last 16. The Rams, road favorites. We've got a lot of road favorites, by the way, today. The Rams, 1-point road favorites with a total of 49. Should make it 4,900, the way that the Cowboys are playing. But regress me to the means, Mr. Duffman. Let's hear what you have to say.
Well, the first thing, I'm sure Jerry Jones listens to these or watches this on the internet. I got a secret for you, Jerry. The secret to turning around the Cowboys is to fire that general manager. He is awful. Ever since he forced Jimmy Johnson out the door many, many years ago, the Cowboys have been mediocre at best since. So if you want to improve on that. But anyway, surprise stat, the Dallas Cowboys, despite having a plus 64 points per game margin on the year, they've outscored their opponents by a combined 64 points, but they're under 500. It surprises me a little bit going against teams with a better points per game margin than their record would indicate. Basically it says go with with straight up record there, and that would say to go with the Rams. However, that being said, when you do have one team that has a better points per game margin, which surprisingly the Dallas Cowboys do, and then the other team has a better straight up record, this is less surprising to me. Usually the team with the better points per game margin is a good bet. And that's because I've said it many times. I think the most deceptive statistic when it comes to picking against the spread winners is a straight up record. Still, all in all, the eye test says the Dallas Cowboys are terrible. They're underachieving. Maybe they're overrated. The Rams look like they're back to being one of the better teams in the league. They've underachieved this year. I just think the Rams are the better team. So I will go with the Rams here.
Going to go with the Rams, the road favorite. All right, the Cowboys, yeah, they suck. Not to,
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
to find an analytic point on it for you out there, folks. All right, next up, the New York Jets against the smoking hot Baltimore Ravens. The Jets 5-8, 5-8 against the spread. Coming off a last-minute game-winning field goal to beat the Dolphins 20-21. I'm not sure there's any great glory in beating the Dolphins. They started 1-7. Now they're 4-1, though, after the last 5. It's been certainly a turnaround for New York. Could this be that the Jets have only played, though, 3 teams with winning records? That's the question mark. So you have to look at quality of opposition. It's a short week also. Injuries, it's not good for the Jets fans. I think, the miracle run might be stopping here against this smoking hot Ravens team, 11-2, 7-5-1 against the spread. It's the first time the Ravens have been home favorites of 14 or more points since 2014. And they're on a 9-game winning streak coming off a thumping of the Bills, 24-17. The Ravens, the last time I looked here, Duffman, 14.5-point home favorites, total of 45. When you look at the Jets, I think they're going to give up a lot of points.
Yeah, they are. Well, don't tell the Philadelphia Eagles that there's no glory in beating the Miami Dolphins. They wish they had beat the Miami Dolphins last week for sure, although their destiny's still in their own hands as far as winning that awful division. But anyway, going against very bad underdogs, and bad being defined by the so-called sweat barometer or margin of cover, teams that have been a bad spread team this year. Going with such teams, 296, 207, and 8. So I'm regressing to your mean. Teams that have at least a 118-point differential for the season on, and then when you will go with the worst team when there's a big difference in point difference and it's end of the year. So we're going not by average, but by season. You want to go with the worst team. And here you're going with the Baltimore Ravens are going against the Baltimore Ravens, who have the best spread margin in the league by far. They're 11-2 ATS by an average of 10.2 points per game. However, on the other hand, where do you actually want to go with the superior team on short weeks? The better team on a short week, unless they had substantially more snaps, is 82-34. So that does favor the Ravens. And a little bit along the lines of what I talked before, going with a team with 90 fewer snaps on the season on offense is actually a pretty good play at 208, 159, and 10. That favors the Jets. Look, this is a chance, at least for the Jets, to go into the offseason on a high note. The Ravens, Steelers, Bills, do they really have the franchise quarterback in Darnold? We'll see. Plenty for the Jets to play for as far as building offseason momentum. This 14.5 points is a ton of points in the NFL. I will begrudgingly go with the Jets plus the 14.5.
All right, Duffy, always a pleasure. You can now tootle off, regress to the mean all you want. We're going to tell people, if you want Sean Duffy's great picks, go to the website right now, picksandparlays.net, where we have 15% off. Use promo code GIFT. Once again, that's promo code GIFT. If you want to bet smart, bet with the best intelligence you can get, and we're going to make you super smart, I promise you. 15% off, promo code GIFT. If you missed any of the picks, don't worry about it. When we come back after this very brief break, I will recap them all for you so that you're ready to make some informed bets. Be right back. All right, welcome back. Picks and Parlays, Sports Byline Broadcast Network, where we're on the radio for you each and every weekday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern. We do stream this show live, though, on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. All you have to do is search hashtag Parlay Radio or go to any one of our social media accounts, and you can find a link to the live video of the show. Hope you will join us every day of the week and make us a regular part of your week. Look, we had a lot of picks today. Let's not waste any time. Let's recap them for you. We started with the Triple B, Bookie Buster Brown, Tony Brown, NBA, Wizards at Hornets, take the Hornets +1. Nuggets at Sixers, take the Sixers -4. And the Knicks at the Blazers, take the Blazers -10. Then El Tigre, Tony Tellez, his college basketball picks. Texas Tech at Louisville, take Louisville -7. Maryland at Penn State, take Maryland -1. Indiana versus UConn, take UConn +2.5. And Butler at Baylor, take Butler -5. Finally, the Duffman. Yes, we don't have Duffman's picks. All right, let's get to Duffman's picks. Jets at Ravens, takes Jets +14.5. Pats at Bengals, take Bengals +10. Rams at Cowboys, take the Rams +3. Vikings at Chargers, take the Chargers +3. Okay, those were our picks. We hope you will tune in with us Monday through Friday, right here, Sports Byline Broadcast Network, and streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Find me, my Twitter handles, at Nick Geber. And, of course, you can find us on the web at picksandparlays.net, along with all of our free picks. And when you're ready, those expert picks are there for you. One more time, promo code GIFT, 15% off promo code GIFT. Use it, everything in the basket. You will get that nice discount. We will help you bet smart, bet with intelligence, and make a little money. All right, folks, I will be back with you tomorrow. Same place, same time, same network. More picks, picksandparlays.net. Until then, bet, win, repeat.